Okay, we've started the recording. Welcome to the CE Adjunct Basics online training webinar. Thank you for joining us today. This session is designed specifically for the continuing education adjuncts and will introduce you to our CE Adjunct Basics online training. This is a self-paced course that was developed to equip CE Adjunct instructors with essential information on college policies, effective teaching strategies, and a wide array of resources available at CCBC. This training is a foundational tool to help adjunct instructors succeed in the classroom, whether you're brand new or returning for another term. During today's webinar, you'll get a first-hand look at the course content, allowing you to better understand what resources we have identified as most helpful. This course will highlight how the training aligns with CCBC's mission to deliver high-quality, student-centered instruction. It would be helpful if you post any comments in the chat or write them down as we go, and we'll leave time at the end for any questions you might have. I would also like to point out that this is a generic course, and you may have some differences in how things are approached in your program area. I will now turn it over to Jack to take you on a classroom tour.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jack Boovey. I'm the Director of Learning Outcomes within the School of Continuing Education. And I work with Tim and with one of our other colleagues who has been called away this evening, Marta Serres, who is our Adjunct Faculty Coordinator. You will be able to, I hope, interact more with her and get to know her better as you move through the term. So as Tim was saying, this course was developed in consultation with program area staff. So it has been reviewed by your program directors and coordinators, and we provide it as a support for the program areas, but especially for you. So what we want to do this evening is to just kind of walk through the training as it's in a Brightspace classroom. Not everyone uses Brightspace, but that's where this training is being delivered. As Tim said, it's self-paced and it's pretty straightforward. So I'm going to just do a little bit of a walkthrough, high level of the classroom so you understand a little bit what it looks like. And then if you have questions about any particular components of it, then you can ask those at the end. So when you log into the Brightspace Classroom, you will see this home page. There's a welcome message and just identifies it as the Continuing Education Adjunct Basics course. We're going to click over here on Content. Let me get up to Table of Contents. So all of the, if you look down the left side here, you'll see this is your main navigation. We have 9 modules. The first one is welcome and introduction, and then conclusion. And in the first module, we have a welcome message from our Senior Director for CE Operations, Don Elliott, and then the introduction and learning objectives, and a little bit of an introduction there. And then as Tim kind of highlighted, the purpose of this is to help you align with the CCBC institutional goals, to provide you with some support and resources, some professional development opportunities, and then to help you just integrate more within the CCBC community. As we have, several hundred adjunct faculty each year, some who are brand new, some who have been around for a while. This is just to try and provide a level playing field for everyone. So you can kind of click down here. And then module 2, we have an introduction, and all of the modules will have this structure. There's a short video, a couple minutes, just a very high level highlight of what is in that module. There's a transcript here, and they do have closed captions. So I'm going to move on. And we We cover the CCBC mission, vision, and values, just to remind all of us that those are the guidelines that we are operating with. Very short history and profile of the school, and we just have some quick facts about our students, and these are simple accordions that open up. And we have this module in here because it helps to show some of the diversity of students in our population, and just that we have a unique student body. And so we want to help orient you to that, so that when you are stepping into your classrooms, whether it's for one day or for an entire term, that you're thinking about who are all of the students that I'm teaching. So let me bounce back out to the table of contents here. We also have continuing education structure. I won't go into that one. Module 3, there's a little bit more compliance and policy training. We like to spend a little bit of time here. Again, just that these are very important policies that we are that govern our work. And so those include the mandatory sexual misconduct prevention training. This is simply telling you how to access that training within the daily post, and to then how to get your completion record, because that's one of the assignments for completing this course and getting your certificate. So that's one of those. We also have then the other mandatory training is cybersecurity training, which we all need to complete each year. Again, just simply how to get that. We have a page on Brightspace basics training, which is specifically for those who are teaching in Brightspace. If you're not teaching in Brightspace, then you need not pay as much attention to that one. FERPA compliance, just a simple question answer, some common questions related to FERPA, some tips. And then we also have in here and in some of the other modules, these little knowledge checks. They're completely voluntary. They're not graded, and you can take them as many times as you like, or you can skip over them if you wish to do that. But I can, so what's an important guideline regarding communication with students? I'm going to use the student email address provided by the college, and I got it correct. So, and then if I hit try again, it resets it. So we have a few questions there. And then some of them, like this one, there's a little flip card. So just a little scenario. So and then just very briefly, here are some resources about accessibility compliance and complying with Section 508. And we provide a link to student accessibility services where you can get, where you can refer students if they have those needs or concerns within your classrooms. We also have some resources here on inclusion that we just want to highlight. This is more for, again, resources for you to be aware of with your students. So the success navigators who do some fantastic work within our community in terms of providing physical supports, food, they can help sometimes with financial matters. They can provide guidance on a number of issues. So again, you have that as a support to you in your teaching. The different student success initiatives, student accessibility services, culturally responsive teaching and learning. So you can look at those at your leisure, but we wanted you to know that there are some supports for those kinds of concerns. Module 4 is on classroom and administrative procedures. We have a lot of content here. We have a page on how to complete your course rosters and why they're so important. So we show some samples of how to mark them, what to do if you have missed sessions, and just why these are so important, because it's part of our compliance with the college and with MHEC that we have to be able to verify those kinds of things. Again, some knowledge checks. And then kind of following on, just again, why attendance, marking attendance is so important. Course completion and grading, we just review the two main completion grades, competency-based and attendance-based. There are some other grade types here that we make a note of, and then just some tips and practices on why the grades are critical, notification of grading policies, privacy, accuracy, and so on. So back up. And again, just because we want you to be aware of other services and supports for students, we have, again, accessibility. Want you to be aware that there are tutoring, writing assistance, and coaching resources for students, the testing center, the library, food pantry and food lockers, and then again, the care team and success navigators. All valuable resources within our community. And for those infrequent occurrences when there are student conduct issues, we provide some information about completing a student incident report and the circumstances under which you can fill those out, and how to do that. There's a link here to the Office of Student Conduct and the Code of Student Conduct. There's a lot of information on these pages also about how you can use the student incident report for even just communicating to the college, I have a concern about a student and I'd like someone to reach out to them. It's not just for classroom disruptions. So there's a range of uses for that. And then just course evaluation forms. There are two forms of that. There's the paper-based evaluations that some of the program areas like to use. And then there's also an online evaluation that is accessed with a QR code that some of the programs use as well. And I think that's we have some very good resources here on classroom and campus emergencies. There are 3 videos on here put out by our public safety office. The first one is on comprehensive procedures for weather and threats and active shooters, fires, and so on. We also have one on first aid, CPR, AEDs, EpiPens, and then again, another one here on active shooter procedures. This little interactive here, we're just trying to highlight the run, hide, fight steps and how to interact with our campus police officers. We also have the campus alert that you can be signed up for to get emergency notifications. And then just some other tips about evacuation routes and highlighting that if you need to leave a classroom on campus, that you take your roster with you, because that's going to be a key document for knowing, do we have track of all of our students, and knowing who's accounted for and so on. And just a few tips about instructor illnesses and emergencies, how to handle those if you need to get a substitute, checking with your program coordinator, because different departments are going to handle things differently, and they'll help you then find a substitute. Also, just making you aware that you do have sick and safe leave. So you want to be able to know that you have that benefit, and your program coordinator can tell you more about how much you have and how to access that. It's just missed or canceled class sessions, and just again, if you missed a class, reach out to your program coordinator. Those things do happen. And then just copies and course materials, again, working with your program coordinator to make sure that you have the resources that you need. You can also take advantage of copying facilities within the adjunct faculty centers that are on the Catonsville, Dundalk, and Essex campuses. Come back up here to Module 4. And then, let's see, note about academic calendars, which you can find through the Daily Post, and then they're also on the college website. And then if you have questions about any kind of human resources issues, you can talk to your program coordinator or director. You can reach out to the adjunct faculty contracts team if you have questions about your contracts. And that's the preferred channel there. The general payroll department is not going to be able to help you as well as the our adjunct faculty contracts team. So anyway. So that's Module 4. Module 5 is just talking about some of the campus logistics and resources. We won't go into that one, the essential teaching strategies. We tried to provide some general resources here on how adults learn, since many of our students they're working adults. So we wanted to highlight that our students are more often independent, they're experienced, they're looking for the practical application to their work or to the career that they are training for or upskilling for. So just a little bit about how adults learn. And we have some tips on being on the skills of a good instructor. Many of you already know these things, but again, this is just kind of, let's put them back out there, a little bit of a refresher on how to interact with our students effectively. And a little bit about organizing your course. When you are, not all of you will be creating the content for the course that was often handed to you, but if you are creating your own course objectives, then this is just a little bit of a reminder about writing effective ones using things like Bloom's taxonomy. And so, these are some of the levels of that. So the verbs that we want to try and encourage when we're deciding what it is that we want our students to know and to be able to do. And so that's organizing content. We also have a few resources here on delivery method and content presentation. And so, like, for instance, ways that a student would be able to explain a concept could include, a written essay, a verbal presentation, an annotated chart with text or pictures, a video explaining the topic. So again, it's just maybe the encouragement to think about how we are interacting with the students and what kinds of assignments we're asking them to do to demonstrate their knowledge. And then just a little bit about the conversations with students and understanding them. And then your role of, being the one who is the subject matter expert. So not being afraid to downplay, well, don't downplay your knowledge. Strike that, yes. And then just how to encourage student interactions through their introduction. So getting to know the students. Because when we are listening and getting to know each other better, we are more effective educators. Creating an engaging classroom. Just a few basic tips about that. Different kinds of assessments that you can consider. And again, course evaluations. And then this is just a simple 9 best practices for teaching CE courses. Understanding our audience, setting clear objectives, using active learning, providing real-world relevance, collaboration, flexibility, constructive feedback, and so on. So just things that maybe we all do well to keep in mind. So then I'm not going to go into modules 7 and 8. 8 is, we have some resources on professional development that you can look at. I did want to look at module 9, which is the conclusion, but it's also where we have, if you wish to take the course to get a certificate and then the $75 stipend, then these are the things that we ask you to do to show that you've moved through the course. So 4 things: uploading the verification of the 2 mandatory trainings, and we have instructions on how to do that, how to access the trainings, and then to get your verifications. There is a final exam, which is short, like 24 questions, multiple choice, multiple select. It's very simple. Then the final action, the final assignment, the action plan, put this together as kind of a way to help you maybe kind of integrate a little bit more as you've gone through all of this, and to come out of it with something practical that you can take into your classroom. So we ask you in a couple pages, 1 or 2 pages. If you want to go on longer, you can, but 1 or 2 pages to just describe briefly how you're going to apply some of these topics. And we provide specific modules here where you can, that you can draw on. And then the other thing too is that if you identify any topics or questions that you want to follow up with your program coordinator, director, then that gives you a little bit of a checklist to say, okay, I know all of these things, but here are my questions. So it gives you a little bit of an action plan to for implementing all of this. And then finally, there's a training course evaluation that we would very much appreciate your completing if you are able to, so that we can continue to add resources to this and improve the course. So that's the classroom. I'm going to scroll back up here and come back to the table of contents. And you'll see that when you move through things, you'll get a check here that shows that you've visited that piece of content. Here, I did not visit the Module 4 introduction, so it's the little circle. You also have alternative formats for some of these pieces. If I click on this one, it gives me the option of EPUB, various kinds of readers if I would like a different format. So that's part of the accessibility features of the Brightspace classroom. It will also tell you up here your percentage of completion and the number of topics. So it helps you to kind of see where you are moving through the course. If you want to, you can also go up here to the assignments, and it will show you the 3 assignments. We do not have any discussions in this classroom, but that is a standard part of the toolbar. To access the quiz, you can click on quizzes and you'll then get a link to go to that final quiz. Class progress shows that I haven't made any progress. Course tools, let's see. Nope, that's not going to, okay. So that's the course. I will pause there if there are any questions. We can also explain how to register for the course and then how to get into the course through my CCBC if you wish to do that. But so I'll just kind of stop for a moment and I'd see if there are any questions.
Sorry to interrupt. I just added the enrollment access instructions for the course into the chat. You can view them now, or you can download them by clicking on the 3 dots. I would recommend you download the file so you have them after the meeting ends, because I don't think you'll have access to them. So anyway, I've added them there. If you have any questions, let me know.
Yeah, so it's a PDF there. It's a simple 7 steps to get into it, and I can actually see. Looking to see. No, I don't have it here. Okay. So anyway, that is there. Thank you, Tim. So, does anyone have any questions? Anything you want to see in detail within the classroom, or the registration or login process?
Hi, this is Art.
Hi, Art.
Speaking. Hi. Just so this is my first time through. I've only taught part-time in the evenings for CCBC, so all of this is new to me. So will we be accessing all of this information ourselves, I assume, and we will be given access to it at some point?
Yes, you are able to, as Tim said, it is self-paced. You may self-register for it. So let me actually, I can show you what that looks like.
That would be great.
Yeah. So the when you so we have provided in the last newsletter, and we can provide the link again. In the last newsletter, there was a link to register for it as you registered for this webinar. But you will, oh, let's see. Let's see if this will. Okay. So within, let me do this. So, no. When you have that link, you will come into the Quick Reg system here. We have set up a special professional development catalog for this course. You will see two sections. This one here, Continuing Ed Adjunct Basics, with this CRN 32617, that's the course for you. We have a version of it for staff members within continuing education, just so that they also can go through all the material and know exactly what you are experiencing as well, so that they're prepared to answer your questions. But we wanted you to be able to have a classroom just for yourself. So you would then select this, and it's going to put it up here, and then I would need to register and check out, and it's going to prompt me then to log in with my CCBC credentials. That will then put you into the class. So if I actually, let me just see if it does this. Yeah, so it prompts me for that. But that's the process that is in the document that Tim shared in the chat. So that's that. And then you're going to get, you'll get an email that will then say you've registered for this, and here's a link to access it. You can then get into Brightspace in one of two ways, and they're essentially the same. You can come into the daily post within the CCBC SharePoint site, and I'm going to scroll down here, excuse the scroll, and I'm going to click on Brightspace. And because I'm already logged in, it recognizes me here. So that's, and then this shows me the courses that I'm registered in. And I'm going to scroll down here, and I'm going to see Continuing Education Adjunct Basics. The other way to do this is to go to the main college webpage and to go up to My CCBC up here and click on that. And it's going to prompt me for my credentials. And when I do that, it's again going to give me a view, and there will be a Brightspace link on that page. And then that will bring you into that classroom. So does that help a little bit, Art, with your question?
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we will have Marta, my colleague Marta has been able to join us now, and she is able to follow up with all of you as well with your questions, and since you have been participating in this webinar, we will have your contact information, and she can send you more information with that link for accessing the Quick Reg catalog. So.
Hello, everyone. I'm sorry for my tardiness. There was a family emergency, but I'm happy to be here with you now. And I'm the coordinator for Adjunct Faculty and Instruction. So I am your contact for questions related to the orientation or pretty much anything else related to CCBC. I might not know the answer, but I will be happy to find it for you. I am the one who looks at your submission at the very end that Jack outlined, and I look at submissions once a week, and if you guys are ready to go, I process the payment request. And then if everything is well in the system, it will appear depending on where we are in the payroll cycle, in your next paycheck, the $75. I will send you an email letting you know that congratulations, here is your certificate, and your $75 stipend has been submitted for payment. So if you have questions about that, please reach out to me. The program staff does not deal with it. They won't be able to help you, but I will be happy to look into it for you, or any other questions you might have.
And very much for taking your time this evening to come to this webinar. Happy for your questions, and we hope that you will be able to take advantage of this. And if you have anything else, please feel free to reach out to Marta. Otherwise, wish you well and have a lovely evening.
Thank you so much, and for the immense amount of work that's been put into this teaching program. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Take care.
Take care.